Then again, if you have estrogen, all hope is lost. My man and lady Cosmos, what is simply going on? What's the scene? Yeah, I just want to say a little quick, real quick, because I know it might get a little bit annoying at times, especially because I know I probably like breathe, very heavily. Yeah, I know, probably especially when I watch a video too, that can be like kind of, yeah, just kind of, yeah, because I know I don't pretty much kind of like that either. But I mean, especially like I come like from a family, of course, a lot of like the male counterparts are really like big dudes, so. And I'm like, of course, I really do like work out a lot too, and I was like, I would say like kind of like recently too, because last time I'm kind of slacking, but yeah, like relatively like I'm a big, really like big, very like large individual. I would say like close to like 300 pounds. That's why, yeah. 300 pounds, and that's just from consistently being in the gym. This was before I started eating, and then I started eating the gain mass, and yeah, almost 300 pounds, and I'm 6 feet, which is crazy. But yeah, just wanted to say that too. Quick explanation of why I might, because how of course it's like much easier too for very like large, big muscular dudes to get out of kind of out of shape, if out of breath, if you don't have like especially if you don't do cardio or some type of consistently too. It can be very hard too. So I just wanted to like make that noticeable. Yeah, just like a quick explanation of why, like, kind of like I understand why if shit, I wouldn't want to listen to that, get a bit annoyed at that too. But I mean, I can't help it. Try it many times, but yeah, I understand if that's consistently brought up as a few times like it was in the past. So yeah, just making it. It's not like I can help it, do anything about it. I'm just letting y'all know. But because I'm a very a big muscular dude, and so all right, back to the topic of discussion. I wanted to talk about Damian Priest. I wanted to talk about what went down, because after what happened to, like I said, I was so pissed that I said it too. I was like, genuinely, like I said, I'll say that. I'll admit it wasn't very much directly at Jey Uso like pinning Roman Reigns. Oh yeah, because I wanted that for like the longest. Because yeah, basically, I like that. I like what they went to. Basically, Jey Uso dethroning Roman Reigns, because that's how it should be. Being that Jay is the face and Roman is the villain in this story, in that whole story, not Cody Rhodes. But yeah, I wasn't necessarily mad at that. I was more so pissed off at the fact that, and I should have been more honest with that too. I was more so pissed off at the fact that Damian Priest, they had went with Damian Priest, and like I said, I know probably like a considerable amount of people. I kind of do too, to a certain degree. Damian Priest, he's been decent, and he has been noticeably, because I think if you compare the Damian Priest to 2021, yeah, definitely that year, probably 20. I don't know I don't know when he got to the main roster, but if I want to say if you compare him to 2022, before he joined Judgment Day till now, yeah, that's a more right explanation. Like, yeah, it's like it's very obvious how you can determine you can defer this is a different guy in all aspects. I don't know, I wouldn't say much about the mic skills, because like I said, he's catching on to everything else, but I wouldn't say about the mic skills, because he's still it's still kind of long. It goes, he tends to go on for patterns, and it's just talking and long, episodic, very how those how they would have that's how they talk. I don't know if it was in a very classic, very old Marvel or DC. And, I think they were I think it was in necessarily the Flash Gordon, and they would have probably in the Star Trek, the older Star Trek franchise too, if anybody what I'm talking about. And they would have they had it was very, very monotone and deadpan, and they were talking. That's that's Damian Priest, and it's it's very Yeah, it's very, very, that's very irritating in itself. But yeah, like I said, he like, there's no denying that the dude is completely different when you look at when you compare him to 2020 or like 2022 and 21. Yeah, dude was definitely different. Like especially in almost all aspects. But yeah, it's like that's not to say that it's not like he's at LA Knight right now, which is catching a lot of buzz. He's not, of course, the Bloodline, no way, shape, or form, anything like that. Not even necessarily a Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley and what they're doing, which is why they're like I say they're the better of the group. Is because they're very fun to watch when you when you look at them and whenever they're on screen, they're a pitch perfect, and it's like, oh my god, it's like it's like the bad apples, or like any like bad a disease. Like I mean, if you linger the good ones in there for so long next to the bad ones, I mean, obviously they're gonna turn into the bad. Yeah, and I feel like that's, I don't know, like I get very scared for their future, especially when it comes from the booking overall, because I mean, yeah, what's to say if like they may eventually rub off, boring ass Finn Balor may rub off on Damian Priest, and I mean rub off on Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio, because like I said, that brings me overall to just Triple H in general. And yeah, so like I said, I've been kind of vocal about Triple H in regards to this, and yeah, not obviously too, not a lot of people liked what I had to say, but it's regardless too. I mean, it is, like I said, there are options, and it's not like they're provided for. Yeah, they are there, and they're provided for you, whether you not want to click in. And yeah, like this is like if I don't know if you have people, of course, whether it's just about trolling, but obviously I'm talking to the ones that at least they still have common sense. Like there's a reason why they're platforms to platforms, and you could choose which either you can watch. Yeah, and you probably you like it's not like it's a new thing. Like like there's million, which has been a long thing. Like there's millions of other channels you can watch. So it's purely put, if you don't like what I have to say, then that's purely a you problem, and you obviously need to. That's you. And it's like there's a million other people, just like there's a million other channels that you can watch, and that will most necessarily will like to tell you what you want to hear. Because like I said, consistently with the time that I've been on YouTube and just overall just using my voice, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's not who I am, and never will be. Never been following the herd. So, and what like I said, which is why the time that I've been vocal about Triple H and how in his booking, and of course say it again, that because people tend to confuse those terms, that I'm not speaking on Triple H as when it comes to his wrestling career. Obviously, like he's one of the legends. He is forever will be, regardless of how people think of him. He was a unique talent in himself. And yeah, he's one of the legends of this business, and he will always be remembered for ages. People know who Triple H is, and no matter how many times Jim Cornette or somebody else that will say that he wasn't is what he was, which is probably like, it probably started off at first, which is kind of true, but make no mistake about it, Triple H is a pioneer in itself when you talk about, and will be remembered for ages, whether people like that or not, regardless if you're in the audience or if you're a veteran in that business in itself. But like I said, because I kind of even more so get as time goes on, I kind of get that the points of why people they didn't necessarily really like Triple H, because it's like his influence and it's like that personality. Of course, it's still the same person. It's not like that's gonna go away. But yeah, it's like this. It's like that same mindset switched. Yeah, of course, it switched over to when he became a backstage personality. Or just like a Vince McMahon. And starting off in essentially like near the end of 2011, and ever since that, more became a fact. And since like, I guess you could say like, well, I guess if he started to like look at NXT, and people say that's sort of his baby. And of course, I feel like from that, especially like I said, when you look at it, because I'm pretty sure also you can find it up. Like I said, man, it's when it comes to his booking side of things, like he has this sort of mindset where it's like, yeah, more so like a Tony Khan. They want an audience that would kiss their ass. They want an audience. They want everybody to believe in the shit that like their followers are spewing, and that's not the case. That's what I said, man. Say what you will about Tony Khan, but yeah, like I would expect that, being that he's somebody that came from the audience, or probably like a community that doesn't really have an overview and tends not to take really that much in favor into the audience. That's why I guess I could say I have a lot more admiration for Vince McMahon, which is why he is who he is today. It's because he had his own mind, and even though he still might have placated to the community, he still had an overall business, logical mindset of when it comes to of how you thrive, and how just I guess you could say any entertainment, but pro wrestling business, or wrestler should be, how it should look. And yeah, Triple H, I feel like that mindset has gotten into his head as well in these later years. Triple H, he's gotten compromised. He's into that. He's gotten like ringed up into that spark, or his own sparks, if y'all want to like PSP, like if you want to say that too, like inside that community, the IWC, where like, yeah, it's like if he doesn't care if you don't kiss his ass, or it's not like, or if you're not praising every week of what he's doing, then he doesn't. It's like he looks down upon that. And like I said, it's like, wow, it's like that's why I guess you could say if you watched my earlier, or kind of like when I first started speaking on this, I was like very shocked and confused, because like, damn, like what, like you would think because being that. Given that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but you would think that given Triple H's name, especially in his business, you would think that he would educate and educate and teach these new generation, the next generation of wrestlers, so they can know when it comes to character and when it comes to personality, the mic work, not just the wrestling, but yeah, you would think that he would teach all these aspects going forward, as to which to help you, especially if you want to be a big name in that industry. Like, you would think that he would be teaching this, and he would be spilling this on to the next generation of pro wrestlers. And it's like, not just the pro wrestling aspect, and that's, like I said, not just the in-ring component. And like, I really just look at that, and I'm like I said, I think I'll forever be shocked at that. And it's like, because I think I know why. Because like, yeah, he has his, just like Tony Khan, he has his own audience of where they believe that shit, or they just like unnecessarily, they like on account of times they want to believe that he's a victim when it comes to Vince McMahon. Of course, just like it's always been like that for years. Of course, like, not to take into the fact that it's already Vince. Of course, it's just Vince is gonna do whatever Vince McMahon is gonna do. But it's like I said, of course, like I said, I think I mentioned that also too before when I talked about when, of course, Vince McMahon, just like any other day, he's blamed for the creative. Just like, I mean, yeah, he probably takes a large majority, because he is like basically the ringleader of it all. Yeah, it's Vince McMahon is WWE, but it's not like people around him were taking that into consideration. It's not like they spoke up. It's not like they took a stand. No, they followed in his degree. And Triple H did that same aspect. And like I said, I kind of believe that also, that he's been a kiss up, or so that's been for years to Vince McMahon. But yeah, which is probably like kind of helped him get ahead in that business, because the more you see that every day is where Triple H is just, whether it's just that in general, whether he's just behind Vince, like, yeah, or it's just he wants to have a community of people that just kiss his ass, and they don't, they don't say anything other than it's just, oh, Triple H is the book. Triple H is this great booker. Oh, Triple H has saved pro wrestling. He's praised Jesus. Triple H has saved us all from obscurity. It's not like, that's not the case at all. It's like, it's ridiculous. And it's like people want to believe in it. I know people want to be given that who Triple H is. Yeah, inside of the ring, but when it comes to the booking side of things, he's absolute garbage. Just like I know what I said about Shawn Michaels, and I don't know that he could kind of be getting to that level aspect, but just like how Shawn Michaels is, like I said, the same thing. Like, why are you just teaching one aspect or encouraging such when you should be like underlaying on all these wrestlers, kind of like how Dusty Rhodes was doing at one point. Like, why aren't you teaching them that how you succeed, like a Rock, like a Stone Cold, like a Hogan? Like, why aren't you teaching these things, Triple H? And it's that insane, that exact same thought that I have, like, eaching out. And if I can just like defer to Damian Priest for a little bit, it's like I had no idea. I know, like, yeah, he's like, I know he's been green. We know that, like, especially with the match with Backlash. But it's like, what have necessarily that Judgment Day, and like I said, I know people like Judgment Day, regardless too. They probably, that I've talked to it on a number of occasions that like the Judgment Day. But it's not to say that I always like it's very, which is probably like not to say that. Like I said, not to put myself on a pedestal, but it's not to say that, yeah, it's like this is also very telling in a mainstream effect that people is not really crazy about the Judgment Day. It's been like that for a while. Ever since Judgment Day, ever since Edge was excommunicated. I said, I will always say this, like, ever since Edge, or how they fucked up, or how that could have been a help, ever since they removed Edge from the group, because I think they had some sort of miscommunications, or of course creative differences Edge probably had with the team. Ever since they removed him from the group, it's been a downward spiral, and you can believe whatever you want to believe, but yeah, that's the reality. Just look at like I said, they have good numbers, which is probably necessarily off Dom and Rhea, but it's not to say that people really care about, like I said, I think even like Cody, even Cody gets like big numbers from, like, when it comes to like him, like even him, like he more noticeably, like I said, like or yeah, like LA Knight is a great example. Even like LA Knight gets like he gets like, I think a lot of his videos with Logan Paul already now, if not, it has close to like 500,000 views already, and he was just getting started on the main roster, and people like him already. And Judgment Day has been a staple for like almost a year now, and they've been like very like dwelling in that, and it's like people are not really talking about them as they should be. Being that how the reaction and how much of a big sensation that Dominic has been. Like I said, when I look at that whole aspect, I feel like, yeah, that's definitely, if I want to think about that, that's probably only has been the good plus of, thank goodness, I think, that's the only good thing to come out of Judgment Day is Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. Because when you look at them, I think 3 years ago to now, they're completely different people. But I guess you could say kind of sort of a way for Damian Priest. But yeah, Finn Balor, yeah, he's like, he hasn't changed at all. He's still the same boring ass, useless, pointless fucking wrestler that educated, that's been in that culture of like that indie pro wrestling, that indie just of wrestlers that's just not fun to watch. And like I said, people can think what they want, but it's the reality. And people don't care about a Finn Balor. People don't care about, even though I kind of like him, but people don't care about a Adam Cole. People don't care about a Johnny Gargano unless these guys have personality. It's purely the reality of the situation. So like I hope something is to good. And just finishing up on that, I hope there is something to good, or if this gives Damian Priest a big boost, because I'm hearing all this, of course, or I see the interview where, just like I saw that of like Rhea Ripley. It's cool. It's like she looked like she was on the verge of tears, which is good. Let's say I like that. I like people, of course, succeeding in life and getting where they want to be. Where she said that he deserves it. Okay, like yeah, like, and I won't lie too. Damian Priest has done some stuff where I feel like he's definitely deserves to be where he is right now. But it's not to say that he should be at that level based on what he's been producing. The remainder that and what Triple H has been since Triple H has been in that head position. Like I said, you can say what you want to say. You can say Triple H is a victim. It's not his fault. Vince McMahon is doing what he's always been. Like, Triple H has always been this way. Like I said, it's whether it's to his feel his own, his have a community of array of his to own, to just pleasantly be at his feet and sucking his triple cock, and like, or if it's just to really like be behind and be a yes man of Vince. Like I said, never forget, or separate occasions. But I know I don't. Never forget that he said from his own mouth, whether it's about NXT was just a developmental. They beat our developmental series, even though they beat them. They beat our developmental series, even though he said that they were a pissant company and they didn't matter. Well, there's like obvious truth to that, but I mean, they're still well known today. He also said that, why people, this is the same Triple H that said, pretty much like after NXT has been around for like purely a decade now, he said in 2020, I can't remember when it was, I think it was 2020, that near the end of the Black and Gold, he said, I don't understand why people just don't take into what they want to believe. He said, they should just basically be quiet. And like I said, you can look at that up yourself. They should basically be quiet. Like I said, pretty much that Holly weird mindset of just the fans should just shut up and consume. They don't have valid criticism, or anybody should talk about the fact. Yeah, that's the same guy that has just on a number of occasions that said, or he said that back in 2018, the McMahon family, they had that whole segment of where, we're gonna give you what you want. That's been a meme too. They even had a whole meme about that. We're gonna give you what you want. We know we disappointed you for year after year after year, that you've been fed up with what you're currently not getting, but we will do better. And it's been the same shit after that happened. So I don't care about the fact that I said people can be who they want to. Like, okay, it's like hey, you can be that, but I'm still gonna be who I'm gonna be, and we're gonna be still, whether we actually have common sense going forward. Because like I said, what has Triple H, which is the whole main point of this video, this topic of discussion, what has Triple H actually done outside since he's been the head of creative? What has he done? Besides the viewership being worse at times, when you talk about him being, like I said, like very much months after he was appointed head of the creative, whether you talk about like so-called talents such as a Dexter Lumis or a Johnny Gargano, that seemed like it was kind of like a spur of the moment, that they were in the main roster. They got brought back, Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, but there's not much talk of them when you talk about now in July of 2023. How'd that happen? You had that big pay-per-view, SummerSlam 2022, but what has been the high gear And what has been all aspects since then when it comes to his booking? What has he actually done something that the world has been talking about? Besides just getting on their knees and constantly, you have a group of community of people that just blindly suck off Triple H whenever they can, wherever they can. You have podcasters, that people that have channels too, that dedicate themselves to a compilation, or I think it's compliment, yeah, a compilation of people, of them just needlessly sucking Triple H off and saying that he's a victim or it's not his fault, it's Vince. And I'm tired of hearing that shit when we know it's what it actually is. So, like I said, you can believe what you want to believe, and I'm gonna believe and we are gonna believe. Oh fuck it, I said my apologies, but yeah, we're gonna continue to believe what we're gonna believe, and that's simply what has Triple H. He has simply done nothing. He has contributed nothing as of right now. Enjoy yourself, Cosmos. I'm gonna see y'all very much later. Stay blessed.